I recently caught wind of censored dialogue on the latest Backwash album. I really dug what I heard and I wanted to hear their catalog to get more ample servings of that small sample size, because I found their flow, their voice, and their blunt delivery to be super fascinating. And what do you know, to my surprise, they had an album come out the day before Backwash's did. So with that, my interest in a feature led me to a fantastic full-length album. With 9 tracks and a 27-minute runtime, it is a relatively short album, but it rarely squanders time and space, as there's a lot to uncover and experience, from the beautiful jazzy and sampled instrumentals to the immensely personal, direct, unapologetic lyrics. Front to back, there is seldom a moment wasted on this album. The opening ACAB is this aggressive rap track about what gives cops their drive, but from this first-person kind of hyper-satirical view, like hating black people, planting drugs to get higher salaries, and even beating their wives because of how much they hate black people, which when I first heard that line, I was laughing at how horrifically hilarious it was. It's a gritty commentary track that's instantly contrasted with the following CHAKA. The production here is great, the chopped up soul samples are infectiously jubilant, and I really love the choice to let the instrumental second half just shine with how much is going on. The overflowing current of gospel vocals, the zealous lead sample, and the manipulated vocal accents to sound like they're trombones is just wow. It just blew me away when I first heard it. Race mixing has a cloudy beat, and as the title suggests, the topic of the track is about racial stigmas in dating. Censored goes over the numerous events in their dating experiences that were marred and challenged by the stigma of dating a black person in many traditional households. Old Yeller features these luscious string samples that really glisten in the second half. Then the album hits a snag with HAYABUSA, in my opinion, where the mix is surprisingly poor. Maybe it was intentional, but I can barely hear a lot of the elements that may or may not be going on. The beat is good and I like the flow, but it's not helped out much by the mix job. It kind of detracts a lot of value from the track for me. But immediately after, the album steers itself clear with Hate Crime, which is an unfiltered look at how Censored feels about their skin color and how it makes them more likely to be a victim of a hate crime, despite people trying to argue that it's not a race thing. The progression of the track is pretty eventful, with a beat switch up and adaptive flows as well. I could listen to Social Death all day. The sample here on top of the gentle, wintry, string-laced beats just cleanses my soul every time I listen to it. As the album comes to a close with Wishing Well and NEGRO Rockstar, they close off the album in a pretty high note. I especially loved hearing the perspective of NEGRO Rockstar of how the many sounds and genres of music don't accredit black people for their impact or creativity, and often those genres have excluded them more often than not. And that with hip-hop, that power dynamic is finally evening itself out. Overall, I loved it. Very little complaints. It's one of my favorite albums of the year so far. It's bold, it's brash, it's raw, it excels at everything it sets out to do and then some, which is incredibly rare for a debut album. This album really should be getting a lot more buzz than it's currently getting, and it is well-deserved attention, in my opinion, for an artist that I am really excited to hear more of in the future. Those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know down below, and I will see you in the next video. I'd give it a